Okay, hello everyone to whoever is watching this, whether it's on the YouTube channel or the website or wherever you have found this interview. You're with Noor here. I run the operations side of EasyGrow, and today I'm joined by one of our amazing clients called Achill, who's gone through our program and has done very, very well in a very unique niche that's not your typical agency owner type beat. And yeah, he's here today to share his story. So, Achil, good to have you on, man. Why don't we start off with uh, who you are, who you serve, and essentially, what your business does, just to give the people some context.
Yeah. Hi, Noor, and hi, everyone. My name is Achill and I'm a social confidence coach, and I specialize on people who are coming from different cultural contexts to the West, mostly South Asians, because I'm South Asian or half South Asian myself, and I had some struggles to become communicative and confident and good at talking to people, and that really was a big obstacle in my life, especially in my dating life, because I didn't have good results online, and I realized I have to get good at talking to people in the real world. And I did that, but it took me a while, and I just noticed that there is not a really good service that actually does this in a holistic way, in a ethical way as well. And so I said, I'm going to be that person who builds that system that makes people confident and able to attract the right partner in the real world, especially for people with that cultural, let's say, mix or difficulty of coming from a place where dating is not even part of the equation. For example, in my Indian family, there's no understanding of what dating even means because people get an arranged marriage in that part of the family. And so a lot of people like that come to the West and they realize that actually they don't want an arranged marriage. They want to find someone on their own, but they have no idea how to do that. And then that's where I come in and I teach them everything they need to know to find a partner and date a few people before they can actually make that decision. And then ideally move towards a long-term relationship and marriage and family, even across cultures, without having to use dating apps and without having to get drunk and just get wasted in the club every weekend.
Yeah, love it, man. Super, super healthy compared to what the norm is in that space. So yeah, amazing. Jill, just for people watching this, by the way, I should ask this before recording. Jill or Akil?
Achil is even better. That's the
Akil,
German.
we'll run with Akil people. So yeah, just before you even got into the program and when you were laying your business out, Akil, how did the business look in terms of, what you were trying to make it work, and what did the revenue look like for, just for context for people watching, just so they can understand where you were at before you actually jumped into the program?
Oh yeah. I had started around 1 year before I jumped into the program full time. And I had a few mentors that helped me set things up, and sometimes they helped me a lot, and I got a spike of revenue, but overall it was just enough to get by, really. It was like 2,000 euros a month, maybe one client or so a month coming in, and that was, yeah, the fact for like 1 year. So wasn't much growth there. And at some point, I lost the business partner, then another one came, but it didn't really work out either. Cost me a lot of energy, some money as well. So at the point when I joined the program, I was a little bit hopeless, to be honest, and not exactly optimistic. And it was just not growing enough for me to see a good reason to keep pushing that hard and then just take my whole life and put
Yeah.
it into. So that was the situation I was in before I joined.
Yeah, and then upon joining, and we're obviously going to dig deeper into this. Um, Throughout the 6 months, you had that 2K level of inconsistency per month. Um, where did you end up within 6 months of the program, just so that people know?
Well, after exactly 6 months, I had a couple of months where I had 10K revenue per month, and one month where I actually reached 18,000 euros or around 19,000 euros of revenue. And that was deals closed. It didn't come all at the same time, but that was the max that I hit in December after joining the program in June.
Yeah, love it, man. So I know we just spoke briefly about where you were before, Akil. what specific things were you actually struggling with within your business that you managed to sort of get clarity on when you actually joined EasyGrow?
Oh yeah. The first and foremost thing was mindset, having the right rituals, the daily rituals that allowed me to actually believe in it again and to believe in myself fully. So in that sense, Charlie and all of you guys are really not just business coaches, you're also confidence coaches. And I learned a lot about how to build my own confidence up from you in that realm of business. I had talked to a lot of coaches about confidence in social life, but I didn't know much about confidence in business life. I didn't know how to be confident on a camera, how to be confident on an Instagram reel, and how to be confident on a sales call, especially. So I learned all of that. And then the sales module, that was also absolutely mind blowing because I had no idea before that how sales really works on a deeper level. And yeah, when I started trusting you guys, I just said, okay, I'm gonna do it exactly the way they tell me to do it. And then I suddenly had that solid system that I could actually iterate on, and a few 3, 4 rounds of iteration got me to that point where I was really happy with the sales script and with my sales skills improving. And that was the two main things that helped me in the first few months of this program, the mindset and the sales training.
Yeah, love it. And I think obviously, you're a social confidence coach yourself, where we spoke just before this, like mindset and self-image is such a big thing, right? And it applies even to you here in business. So usually people uh, that watch these videos, they're in it for, they want to know the strategies, tactics, shiny objects, or whatever it may be. And I always say, like, we can give you the great strategies, but without the appropriate mindset, it just doesn't work as well as they could. So it's amazing that's been like a main part of your positive change, Akil. From a business standpoint, were there any strategies in particular that really helped you start generating some more business? Because I know you mentioned privately, for example, you've done really well from an inbound standpoint. So perhaps you can go into more detail about that. Alternatively, if there was some outbound stuff that you done, that'd be great to know as well.
Yeah. So it took me quite a while to really get to the strategies because I was, yeah, quite overwhelmed at the beginning with all that mindset change and all the new practices and actually understanding how all of that worked. So I think after 2 or 3 months, I started getting into the systems of doing outreach and attracting new clients. And I started off by just getting more consistent with posting content. And that was a real game changer for me because when I started posting a new reel every single day, because I had just a lot of conviction, I had that kind of momentum, and I had ideas bubbling up all the time. I mean, they got better, and I got ideas, and once in a while they just blew up on Instagram. And so at one point, I got a reel that got 4 million views, and that night I can remember I didn't sleep much. I just looked at that screen, and interestingly, I had visualized that exact moment in the mindset work. I had visualized that experience of seeing a lot
There
of
you go.
heated debate, lots of hate as well, but lots of love as well. And so, and then at that night, I just got around 20 or 30 calls basically booked in. And then for the next 2 or 3 weeks, my calendar was always booked out with 20 calls per week. So that was a big breakthrough moment for me. And I realized, yeah, inbound is probably a really good way for me to get good leads. And so I continued putting out content. At some point, started doing YouTube videos regularly as well, which also got me a couple of leads here and there. And then I started also doing the outreach via DM, and that is still not yet super consistent, not yet super stable. I'm not 100% convinced of it yet, but I'm still doing it. And once in a while, I do get a lead and even a close from there. So those are two channels that I use right now: inbound and DM outreach. Um, works okay right now.
Yeah, love it, man. Love it. And then with regards to the program itself, Akil, obviously as you know, there's loads of coaching calls going on. Did you join any of the calls? Did you find any of them particularly valuable throughout your journey?
Oh yeah. I think we joined almost every coaching call with the founders. I mean, at least once a week, I was there with Charlie or Bo,
Yep.
and I I just love being there and seeing all those guys, progressing and all those extremely talented and sharp people. That made a huge difference for me. And when I heard them get ahead, I mean, that's like impossible to just chill after that. You see them progressing and you're like they have the exact same access to the same information, to the same mentor as me. If I'm not progressing, then it's got to be on me. I got to put in more work. So that was highly motivating. But in the beginning, I was also still a bit overwhelmed with the amount of calls and the amount of information. So I didn't even manage to come to many other calls. Only at the very end, after like 5, 6 months, I actually realized that there are so many more calls that I should have joined all along. And I started joining them all. At the end, you realize what you're missing if you get out of this. And then I realized that there's extreme value in the sales coaching call, the sales audit call, where they look at your sales calls and give you tips on how to improve that. The mindset call, incredible as well. Like there are so many calls, and now my calendar is like 30% filled with coaching calls. So yeah, it took me a while to realize the value in there though.
Yeah, that's it. In a way, it's quite good because you never drowned in what's it called, content consumption, where a lot of times people tend to just, buy the programs, right? And they just feel the need to go for everything, but they don't necessarily take action. In your case, it sounds like you went through what you needed to go through. You were so overwhelmed by that alone, and you just used your remaining energy to actually take action on your business. So that's fantastic, man. And yeah, it's funny you actually mentioned the founders call in particular, Akhil, with Bo and Charlie, because like you said, even if you don't have any questions, right? Just being present on those calls, just hearing other people's situations, successes, and even struggles and questions that they're facing, and hearing the feedback that they're getting, it's so invaluable to you because not only does it give you motivation, but it just allows you to understand problems that you don't even have yet and have
Yeah.
solutions in advance. And one thing I love, man, is what you mentioned, where it's like what did you say? We've all got access to the same program. So it's like a light bulb switch that clicks, right? When you're like, oh, wait, this person's winning. He's got the same stuff as me. I need to get to it.
And plus, I want to say a lot of people have exactly the same problems as you, and they actually ask questions that you should be asking.
Yeah,
You're just not asking them for some reason. And then it becomes clear that you should be the guy asking this question, but you wonder, why am I not asking it? Well, probably that's part of my fear or some kind of resistance that stops me from asking and saying, making up some story about why this is not super relevant. I don't want to disturb Charlie. I don't want to take too
yeah.
much time. All of that is just blasted when you see other people ask the question that was in the back of your head, and then you start asking questions yourself. Because fact of the matter is that when you're building a business and you're not yet where you want to be, then you have a lot of questions. You have a lot
Yeah.
of problems. You're just not often courageous enough to actually express that.
That's it, man. It's funny you say that because like I've been doing this for like a while now, within EasyGrow and even our older program in Imperium, and I've seen so many students where they only share their Loom metrics with me when it's like it's hit make or break, and I say to the students like, "Hey, man, like I could have fixed this for you months ago. Like, how comes you didn't reach out?" And they just said, oh no, I don't want to waste your time. I don't want to post a question. And I'm just thinking in my head, it's like, hey, like you paid for the program. The program comes with group support, coaching calls. It's my job specifically to help you. So no question is a dumb question, right? And it's good like with you, Akil, for actually admitting that where you felt closed off and you're like, oh, I don't want to bother Charlie here. It's like, no, please do bother us. Like that's the only way you're gonna succeed, right?
Absolutely. There is like one tiny challenge to that, which is that you see all these other business owners, and a lot of them are extreme go-getters. They're just so
Yes.
extremely confident. They speak, they take up space, they know how to express themselves. And for me, as someone who used to struggle a bit with social anxiety and still has a bit of it inside of me, it was actually a bit difficult to like assert myself and say, hey, I want to have your attention now as well. So that's something you have to break through when you get into this program. You just have to know that you paid for it and you deserve the attention, and you should like take that space and ask for help if you need it.
That's it. And it's very funny that we're speaking about coaching calls here because it seems like such a small thing. I promise the people watching this because I've seen it firsthand, Akil. Like I've run a few myself when Charlie and Bo are away. Like some of the people that join the coaching calls when they first start, after a few months, they look very different. They're so much more confident. They're so much more self-assured. Like they're speaking with so much confidence and conviction. And it's just because they asked help. Like at first they sounded nervous because they didn't know what they're going on with their business. And then over the few months, right, they just transform into like a completely new person.
I think part of that definitely happened for me as well. And I think it's also just because you hang around with other confident people, and that
That's it.
stuff rubs off big time. And also just hearing Charlie in the coaching videos and the other guys in the coaching videos, you surround yourself with that voice and that energy and that confidence, you're going to pick it up and you're just going to imitate him. That's what happened for me.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Love it, man. And yeah, one more final thing to note in that regard is the point where you said there's so many other coaching calls for you to leverage, but you're only now doing it. I know for a fact for your outbound stuff. I know you said you book a call here and there. There's free coaching calls a week for that. So if you now dive into that, that will be fixed. I can assure you. So yeah, it just goes to show that you could be overwhelmed and you're missing out on so much value, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So the outbound thing, yeah, it's just a lot of resistance inside of me as well that comes up when I think of having to text a lot of people
Yeah.
and basically getting a lot of people to say no. But if I know for a fact, because I'm measuring it, that I do get 4 to 5% bookings from my outreach. So that's all right. And it's just have to get used to the fact that that's going to be the way it is in the beginning, and you're not going to get a yes or response from everyone.
Yeah, yeah. You're probably so used to smashing your inbound where you're like, oh, I don't want to deal with the nose anymore. But no, that would be just to sprinkle that on top of your inbound success. That's just the icing on the cake. So yeah, I love it, man. Okay, well, how does your sort of business infrastructure look now, compared to before in terms of like teams, systems? Are you just a one-man band still, or do you have more of a team type setup where you may have some virtual assistants, you've got systems for each things? Just run me through how, the business looks from a
Mm,
structural standpoint.
yeah. So I'm still a one-man show, and I started the what's called delegating small tasks to VAs. Every now and then there's a really mechanical task, and I started just outsourcing that. But for now, I'm doing it all myself. I still feel like I have a lot to learn and a lot to improve.
Stuff.
So I have a lot of Notion pages and Excel sheets, and I make sure that I track my progress in all areas of business. I track my outreach activities, I track my sales calls, I track every single learning that I make from the coaching calls and even from the coaching calls and the sales calls, I mean, and all of that feels like there is a place for every piece of information, and I
Yeah,
know where to put it so that it turns into value for my company, so that it accumulates and gets integrated into a network of knowledge. And so that is something that I changed over the last few months, just making sure that I have these kinds of software systems in place. But also, of course, I built out my video course, and that was also a big inspiration that this coaching gave me, like how to even build a coaching program and how to go about recording videos that explain very difficult, deep stuff. Charlie was the perfect role model there, and I just imitated him in many ways. And so I have a video course now that works, that gets people results. I just have to get them to actually
love
watch
it.
the videos. Right? That's still the big challenge, to motivate people to sit down and watch a video for 2 hours and actually do the exercises in there.
That's the problem we have sometimes. So welcome, welcome to having the same problem, man. But no, that's great stuff. That I was gonna ask as well how you're currently delivering um your sort of transformation to your students. So it's done through a video course right now. There's no one-to-ones no more. So it's just a course right now, right?
It is actually also a lot of calls. So similar to the
Nice.
way EasyGrow and Imperium does it, we have a video course and we have a lot of coaching calls. One of that coaching call is more about mindset. Another one is more about practicing your speaking and communication skills. Another
Nice.
actually a practice call where we go out while we're connected virtually and we meet new people in the real world as we're all connected
That's
and I'm there
amazing.
to give people feedback and motivate them to actually do it. So it's a combination. Once in a while, I do have a real world event as well. So once in a while, I get people together for a mastermind. Some people are around my location and I meet them in the real world. But the program works online and I'm getting real transformations. People not just getting dates, but actually moving into relationships
Yeah.
and find the right partner that they want to really build a future with. And yeah, my company is not just about building the confidence that you need to attract a lot of partners, but actually also the confidence that you need to build a lasting relationship. That is
Yeah.
another huge challenge that many people don't even have on their radar. But once you get good at dating, you find the right partner, you need to solve that problem as well. How can you maintain an amazing growing relationship? So I want to be the guy who joins people on that journey of becoming confident as not just a date, but also a husband and a father.
Yeah, amazing stuff, man. And again, we spoke about this privately, and I love the fact that you're now elaborating it here in public for everyone to watch. Where again, people would naturally assume that Keel's a dating coach. All he does is help people, pick up women, etc., etc. But actually, it's deeper than that, isn't it, Keel? For you, with how your business is set up, it's instilling your clients with the confidence to go out in the real world. Don't hide behind a phone screen, right? Meet people face to face, have some dates, but more importantly, rather than, mess around, find real intimacy with a life partner. And then on your end, you'll also help them with that side of things, where how to show up as the right boyfriend, as the right husband, etc., etc.
Exactly. And that is inseparable from building ground confidence, which is transferable to all areas of life. And you need the same kind of confidence when you start a business, for example, and you
Yeah,
start talking online and going on calls like this or making videos on Instagram. It's the same confidence where you believe in yourself and you believe that you're going to have an amazing future in front of you and you invite people in. And whether
yeah,
that's our business partners or clients, it's the same mechanisms. And I focus on those people who need a date because that is the case for almost everyone out there.
mm,
And it's like the kind of confidence that we build here, for example, in this community of EasyGrow, is kind of reserved for business owners. But so few
yeah,
people have that challenge of building a business, but so many people have that challenge of finding the right partner. And when that becomes a real
yeah.
challenge, they need the same kind of confidence that Charlie teaches and you guys teach in business, but they need it in their personal life. So that's where I come in.
Yeah, love it, man. Love it. Okay, another thing I want to ask is obviously, like you said, you entered the program in as you described, in a hopeless state where, you've had business partners leave, inconsistent months and all of that stuff. What did the identity shift look like on your end to achieve the success you have now? How does Achill version 1, who entered the program, compared to Akhil now, the version 2 that's, gone through the program, speaking with such confidence, has a business that's working, and overall just, smashing it. So how does the version 1 compare to the version 2, and how important was that shift?
Oh, okay. Basically, that's everything. The whole reality for me changed because my personality changed, and I started just taking my habits so much more seriously. I knew for a long time what I had to do to get focused and to get more energy and to be killing it in business, but I was just not doing it. And I don't know what was missing exactly. Probably a bit of motivation, a bit of accountability, a bit of also awareness. Like
Yeah,
actually knowing exactly what I need to do. And all of that changed just by being around people who had gone that journey before me, and seeing how they did it, how they speak, how they behave, what they stress, what they talk about, what are the things that they recommend, and looking at it. And when it made sense, I'd say, okay, I got to take this on board. I got to make this change. I can't be inconsistent at the gym. I can't be inconsistent with my deep work anymore. I can't afford that anymore. And it still happens that I miss a day of deep work, but I think of Charlie. I think of Charlie. Would he miss that deep work? Not sure. I mean, he's just pushing out that content constantly,
Yeah.
videos, and like if he can do it, then I can do it too. I just have to change a few things, and I keep changing and I keep developing. But I'm at a point where I'm pretty happy with my consistency and just being clear exactly on where I want to be and what I need to do to get there, and then actually doing it.
Yeah, love it, man. I wanted to ask you that because, like you said, it's not just the business strategies and tactics. Like you as an individual just have to change so that you're in alignment with the successful version of Akil. Because I've seen firsthand where, people would not just come into our program, but other programs, for example, right, where they would often blame the strategies and tactics, but it's like, are you honestly acting in alignment with who you need to be right now? Are you waking up early? Are you hitting the gym? How's your diet? Are you doing the work that's required? And they'll be surprised to see that the answer is no, no, no. And it's like, okay, there's the issue. It's not the strategies. We need to fix this before we can make that work. So yeah, it's amazing to see how you sort of fix that side of things, especially when you first joined to now where you're at now, man. And that sort of leads me to my next question, and it's one I always love to ask because business owners like yourself, you're so stuck in the arena when you're just moving forward, moving forward, moving forward. How does life look now, Akil, like from a personal, professional standpoint? Obviously, like you said, upon joining, things are all over the place, and now if things seem so like calm, I can feel your energy through the screen. You seem so relaxed, things are going well. Have you taken a time to just pause and just look at how things are going and look how far you've come? Like, how has life sort of changed for you? And yeah, it'd be great to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah, it's actually hard to take a step back and just celebrate, because it always feels like it's a struggle. And yeah, it's a different level of struggle right now. But when I think about it just for a moment, I'm like very grateful. And I just think of, for example, how much I used to worry about little expenses.
Mm,
ClickFunnels, subscription going off, school, all those payments. Oh my God, I'm losing money now. I don't even think about that anymore. It's
I
not
love
on
it.
my radar. It's just some kind of small noise here and there, and I'm not worried about business expenses. And I'm also not worried about taking a day off. I didn't really allow myself that back then. And I was falling apart under that pressure. Now I take a day, sometimes 2 days, to just say,
Yeah.
hey, let's celebrate the success of the week, and let's actually just go to nature, have a nice retreat. Usually I will be not able to fully switch off, and I will still take my camera and make a YouTube video on the way. But sometimes I manage to do one day without any work. And that's something that I can actually enjoy now because I know I don't have to worry about the next month survival for my business.
Yeah, I love it. You've got that sense of security and peace, and you know that option of having to work if you want to. It sounds like on your day off where you just feel the need to record a video, go for it. But it's important to have that option where you don't feel like, oh, I have to record a video on my day off. So yeah, amazing, Nikhil, and I'm super happy that you've taken some days off to reflect and whatnot. Because yeah, some students I speak to that are doing so well, they say to me, "Nope, nope, go keep going, go keep going," and it's understandable because they always want to hit new levels. But I always love when students like yourself really just pause and reflect because you can give yourself a pat on the back, because it's amazing to see, the transformation that takes place, and it's important that you're aware of it. So good stuff, man. Akil, what are your next goals, man, with the business? Like, it's like we spoke about in this interview, and even just before the interview, you have a game plan where it's not just about teaching people how to be more socially confident, to pick up dates, but also find a life partner. But you also want to help them beyond that. So why don't you tell the people about, your revenue goals, I guess, and how you want to develop your program and your business in the next couple of months?
Yeah. So right now the goal is to stabilize and to consolidate the product to make sure that I can take 5 to 10 people in every month and make sure that they have that transformation and
Mhm.
not have to do a lot of manual labor for that. And that is still a little bit of work because the service delivery side, I still need to focus on building those systems so that I don't have to do a lot of coaching one-on-one or in those group calls myself, but rather have videos and have the right exercises and it's systematized so people get the exercise based on what they need and then they do it and then they bring the result and I check it and that's it. So I think I want to get to that point where I can really make those 10K revenue a regularity, where it's not just sometimes 10K and sometimes five and sometimes 18, but just really consistent.
Want some consistency.
I need that. I need that security still, right? And that is already an amazing goal. When I think about it, that's much more than what I made when I was still employed as a programmer. So yeah, that's gonna be a great milestone to hit. But of course, I want to go beyond that. And I know there's a huge demand for this. I mean, I have so many sales calls with people who need this product, but I'm
Yeah.
still not fully able to hit the nerve for them and to make them realize that this is what they need. So I want to get much better at sales and get that conversion rate up. Also in outreach, I want to get so much better at hitting the spot and actually getting yeah, getting that winning content that
Yeah.
I know is always gonna hit my target audience right in the head. And then once I get there, I think I'll think about yeah, increasing that revenue goal up to 20, then sky's the limit. I think I want to branch out from that narrow, small subsection of that market of South Asians living abroad to potentially all other immigrants living abroad, and then at some point, just all men. I think this is going to be uh, more relevant for men at this point. So I think that's something I want to limit it to for now. I've already worked with a lot of men from different ethnicities. I have a lot of clients as well who are just regular Europeans, Germans, and they get the similar transformation. So sooner or later, I'm going to expand into all these different branches. But for now, I want to master that one sub niche and make sure that I get to that, yeah, 20K per month.
Love it, man. Love it. And like we said, again, we spoke just before this, you're in a phase of you've crossed that 5 figure per month mark where you've hit it, you've hit a couple of months like that. But now it's like we need to clean this up, systemize it, do what needs to be done. Because if you just carry on onboarding clients without the systems, without cleaning up the systems a lot more effectively, and like I told you, it can easily it can easily fall apart. So good stuff, man. Good stuff. Okay, so usually as we wrap up this interview, there'll be two categories of people that are watching this. The first of which is obviously existing students, right, part of the program, and the second of which would be people that aren't customers yet, but they may want to know more about the program. They're on the fence, etc., etc. So for the people that are already students, right, fellow easy growers, what would you say to them in terms of the key lessons that you've learned that have made you a success in those 6 months, right? For anyone that's, in the program and they're sort of struggling, running into issues, or even people that have literally just joined, what would you tell these people in terms of the key lessons you've learned to succeed?
Hmm. I'd say one big one is that you wanna have a lot of certainty around your ability to help. And if you know that you can help, then that I think in the beginning should be at the center. And that should be at the center of your outward communication, at the center of how you feel about your work. You're just like, I'm here to help some people. I really want to help. And it really helps when you have successfully helped someone. Okay, in the beginning, you're maybe not going to have helped every single client a lot, but you'll have helped some clients, and then just want to focus on that and say, hey, it worked. It worked in this one instance. I got to study this instance really well and see what I did there, and then see if I can extrapolate that to others. And then you will be able to help some people. And then I think there's a really beautiful quote from Bo, which was, success is inevitable if you keep doing that. If you just keep helping people and you just keep doing it, as long as you get by with whatever money comes in, you're definitely going to get better at helping people, because just by doing it, that's inevitable. So that was the mindset that I took in those first few months, where I said, hey, I'm helping someone. It seems to work. If I
Yeah.
keep doing it, I'm gonna get better. So success is inevitable. There's this big divide. I mean, my family, my sister would tell me, what you're doing is crazy, it's so risky. And I say, actually, no, it's absolutely guaranteed. It's success is guaranteed, because look, it's working now on a low scale. And obviously I'm getting better every day at everything I do, with my practice, with the help of people like you. It's bound to get better, unless the world completely changes and my market disappears. But with people looking for connection and for partnership, that's not going to happen. So as long
Yeah.
as you, a market that you believe is going to continue to exist, and you have this desire to help and you have the ability to help, success is inevitable.
Yeah, I love it, man. And that's great, specifically for what you said, where and it's invaluable for students of the program, where if you get results for one client, if you're able to deliver, the simple question to ask yourself is, what's stopping me from doing this for another one, then another one, then another one? And it's really interesting, Akil, because I've seen students where they let's say they've got four clients, they deliver amazing results for three of them, just one the fourth one they may not deliver as great results, maybe bad results, and all of a sudden they go, oh my god, this doesn't work, I can't scale this up. When actually it's like, hey, look, let's ignore that one. The majority you've got good results for. How do these businesses look? Clearly there's a market for these ones. Perhaps the fourth one, their business wasn't set up in the way for you to deliver. That's fine. So I think that's an invaluable takeaway, because students, they expect that they need to, when they come in, they're like, oh my God, I need to get like results for 5, 10 people to be able to be a massive success, when it's actually just taking a deep breath, getting that one client results. And once you have a proof of concept, you ask the question that you asked the kid, it's like, oh, hang on, I can do this for a second person, third person, fourth person. And it's amazing, because I don't think enough people do that, where it's like they will just sign a client, get them results, and they'll just move on to the other ones. Whereas if they look at what made it work for the first client, in terms of the client avatar, how they set up the service delivery, this, that, they can find the exact same ones again and again. So I love that takeaway, man. And then, okay, for people that aren't a customer and that are probably on the fence with regards to the program, specifically for businesses like yours, for example, where, it's not a marketing agency, it's a coaching business, right? What would you say to them if they were on the fence? Similar to yourself, where let's just say, if you were on the fence, I don't know if you were on the fence on your call, right? It's sort of like speaking to yourself, where, what would you say to someone that has doubts on the program if you could speak to them directly?
Oh yeah. I'm trying to put myself into the shoes of me before I got in, and I just watched Charlie's ad on YouTube, and immediately it spoke to me. I just liked the way he spoke,
Yeah.
and turns out the whole team at Imperium has that style, that very real, kind of raw, but also extremely eloquent, extremely profound way of expressing. And I think that really struck a chord with me. And I need people who are on that intellectual level, and who also have a bit more of a deep ambition to not just make a lot of money, but actually do beautiful things, and do things in an elegant way, and do things in a philosophically grounded way. And I think that's what really like became clear when I listened to Charlie and many of you. You care about this on a deep level. And I don't know, man. I have never seen someone who could explain these things so well. So for me, it was pretty clear that this is the best mentor that I could get right now, like from all the mentors that I had seen. And so I was not much on the fence when I came to the call. I kind of knew that I was going to take the program. It was still a bit of a step to really jump in and commit financially as well. Mm, but if you step up and you come in and you say, I'm gonna really squeeze the value out. I'm gonna come to the calls, I'm gonna ask my questions, I'm gonna do what they
Yeah.
tell me to do. And it's definitely gonna be worth it. There's no doubt about that. But it's not easy to step up and actually to make use of all the resources that are in this program. So that's one thing that I would say to people who are on the fence. Yeah, you want to be that person who can step up and proactively take all the stuff that's offered, use it. Some of it is not gonna work right away, and some of it might not be really
Yeah,
suitable for you. But
exactly.
as long as you talk about it, as long as you bring it up and you, I mean, I should have done this more, right? But that's
Now
why
you're
I'm
talking to yourself.
talking to myself here, right? As long as you bring it up, they're gonna find a way to solve it, and they're gonna find a way to help you actually make it work.
Yeah, love it. And pretty much to just summarize what Akil said there, if you're willing to work, if you're willing to ask questions, if you're willing to make mistakes, right? If you're willing to fail, because naturally, like Akil said above, you'll naturally make mistakes, you'll fail, even with everything that's given to you for many reasons. Perhaps it's not a good fit for your market. Like one specific outreach strategy may not be a good fit. That's fine. We've got like eight others that you can test out. So if you're someone that's willing to put in the work, and you want a proven system to follow, regardless of whether you're an agency owner or you run a coaching business like Akil here, there's no reason why this won't work. And I will add to that, where if you're someone that wants a Akil, you can back me up on this. If you want a magic pill where no work's required, where it's going to be A to B and that's that, this isn't the program for you. I'd love to find that program. It'd be great to see what they're doing. But yeah, like you need to put in the work. And success isn't easy. Like Akil's said here, it took 6 months for a personal identity shift, as well as putting the things in place professionally. So yeah, if you're someone that is willing to put in the work, the program is perfect for you. So yeah, good stuff, Akil. Before we wrap this up, I know you said you got YouTube, Instagram. You're a bit of a celebrity now in your regard. Where can people find you, man? Like, do you have a website as well? Why don't you tell people where they can find you, and I'll be sure to add the relevant links to the description.
Absolutely. I'm most famous on Instagram, Conscious Confidence. And that is a bit hard to spell, but that's also part of my strategy. I want to filter out people who can't spell conscious. No, just kidding. You can search it with my name as well, Achill Rudolph. It's going to come up. And I'm also on YouTube with the same handle, Conscious Confidence. And my website is offlinedating.com. That's a bit easier and more catchy. And that's where I have a little video where you can find out about my strategy of helping people to get to a lot of dates and to the right partner eventually.
Yeah, love it, man. Love it. So there you go, people. That was the interview with Akil. Akil, appreciate you, bro. And to anyone that's watching this, like Akil said, the relevant links for his stuff will be in the description if you want to go check it out. And if you're actually in need of social confidence yourself, so Akil can actually help you here. So yeah, really good stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed the interview. Be sure to check out some of the other interviews that we have, and don't be afraid to book a call with us, especially if you feel that you have a business that we can definitely help with. Okay, worst case scenario, it's not a good fit. That's perfectly fine. Best case scenario, you enter like Akil has, and you really, really make it work. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the interview, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye. Cheers.